Okay, new video time, and as you can tell, the garage is empty. So I have a lot of other stuff I need to get into, but first off, we're gonna sort out this microtech for the 626. Anyway, enjoy it. That's when the key came off, that was the problem. Okay, so. So a few weeks back now, I started mucking around with this and we had powered up the ECU and we checked coils, I'm pretty sure. We checked the coils and we checked the CAS. Everything was working with that. Recently, I've checked the injectors. They're all firing as well. I've found the electric fan wiring and we have now hooked up the TPS. But what I really need to do is run relays, bus bars, all that nonsense. We need to mount it all nicely, wire it all up, and then we'll plug this whole unit when it's all attached to this. We'll plug it back into this, make sure everything works. So we'll crack into it. Okay, before I go too crazy and tear all this apart, I just want to put it into test mode again on function 31, and I'm going to make sure that these are all firing, and then we'll be good to take it apart. I'll be happy with that. So where are we? Yeah, so as you can hear, all the injectors are firing, so that's pretty good. Also, what I have done is put it back into normal mode. If you spin the CAS now, you can hear the injectors firing when they're supposed to. So happy as with that. So I'm gonna get into it now and tear everything apart. Okay, so this template was made in the car. Now this fits in behind the dash, in by where the factory radio used to sit. So it'll be nice and hidden and all the rest of it. So I've transferred this to aluminium. Now there's my cutout mark here. So now all I have to do is just place everything with consideration of the wiring and how close everything's going to be. So originally I was going to run these for the bus bars. Now what I'm worried about with these ones is if I hook a main power to this and you actually lift this unit out or it gets bumped, it could earth on a strap in behind the dash. So we are going to run the covered one for our main powers. So I'll just plonk that. Yep, that will do. Somewhere like that. And I will run one of these for the earths. Probably somewhere like that. It's just trying to make everything fit. Now, I do have 4 relays. So what these are going to run is I'm going to have one for the ECU itself. I'm going to have one relay for the fuel pump, another one for the fan, and what was the last one for? Coils? Maybe the coils. Anyway, will come to me. So I'm gonna start marking all this out, drill some holes, and then start laying wiring, cutting and splicing into the main wiring loom. Bearing in mind that I need to run out this way, I need the coils, the electric fan, and that's about it. And coming this way, I need the wiring for the injectors, the TPS, and out here is where we're going to plug into our power, ignition source, and an earth. All right, I'm gonna get stuck in. So I'm not a big fan of wiring, but so far, what have I got? I have the earths for the ECU plugged in here. I have fuel pump relay, fan relay, and now this one, I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna run to it yet, but that's the signal wire. and that's this one over here is the output. So spare relay at this point, maybe. Now I've sorted out this loom here. Now this loom will be going to the intake manifold. Here we have our injector wiring, and we have the TPS. Now what I need to do is run a main power probably through this plug. I'll see. Yeah, they've snipped it really short. Oh wow, got a whole variety of colors on that one. But what I'll do is I'll run a main power all the way back down to this block. So this is my main power feed, and I'll do that also for the coils. So get all this wired up roughly how it is now, and we're going to test it again. And this time I should be able to see signal coming through, especially the fuel pump. I should see a signal coming through the fan and whatnot, and we should be able to hear the injectors, should be able to see the coils sparking. So a little bit more to go, but yeah, we'll get into it. Okay, so it still looks like a mess, but what I've got going on here is I do have the intake all wired up. Now I've done up to this plug. Past here, we're going to need to rewire that, but I just need to get the loom through the car first. Here I've got, this will have to be hooked up to a permanent power in the car, or 12-volt main in the car, and an earth as well. So this will be the earth that will run this block here, and I've just got the other earth from the coil packs, which needs to be attached to the engine. So hopefully once I power this up, we should be able to do the coils, the injectors, as well as the TPS. We'll see that on the computer, and should be able to check the fuel pump. So as soon as this powers up, it usually primes your fuel pump, primes your fuel pump. So we should see a signal coming out of this for about 5 to 10 seconds. And at the same time, when we put in test mode, we should be able to test for the fan through this wire here. We should hear the relays click. Now, as I said before, this one, I haven't hooked it up to anything yet, just got it to a power. I just need to, we'll find a home for it. We'll find something to use it for. So I'll quickly power this up and we'll go through the test. Okay, about ready to power this up. So when it powers up, the ECU primes the fuel pump. So straight away I will go and get the test light onto the fuel pump wire from the relay. So she's powered up. So this should turn off soon. Sweet. So I heard the relay on that one, so that's mint. As I said before, TPS is good. That's wired around the right way. So what I'll do now is I'll go back to that function 31, and I will do the configuration, set it to 0. Why does that not want to work for me? There we are. I should have coils, injectors, fuel pump firing. Okay. Oh shit. Alright, maybe I should have some leads on those coils so we can see the arc just jumping, but where are we? Fan. We're good. Holy shit. Man, that was throwing some spark. I am happy with that. What has gone on here now? Computer had a hissy fit. So, no, happy with that. So relays are working. Everything's fine. So now that we've got through somewhat of this wiring, I can go through, tidy it all up, and as I said, we can, once I mount all of this, I just need some hardware for all of this. I better turn that off actually. Once I have hardware for all this, mount it all down, put it in the car. All this will be covered up, so we'll have Loom to the firewall either side of the car, and then all I need to do is clean this mess up here, and it'll just be straight plug into the injectors, wire up the coils, a few little bits and pieces, fan, fuel pump, and we're away laughing. Anyway, I'll jump back into it tomorrow. Okay, once again, it's been a couple of days, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to position all of this where it needs to be, drill the holes. I've got all the fixings I need there, and then once that's mounted, the plugs that are running for the injectors, I'm not a big fan of these type of plugs, so we're running these, what do you call them, Deutsch plugs. I don't know how to do it, but I'm sure there's a YouTube video that will explain how to do that. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. What I need to do is just need to fix all these off where they need to be, just bolt them in, and then I can start tidying up that wiring. And as I said, plugs, make a new loom for this, and then we can go put it back in the car, and then it will be good, I guess. So this is my evening. I'm going to just crack into this. The Rock 2000's playing, so all good. Right, done, minus conduits. So all of this is attached now, so that's nice and secure. The relays are all good. Now, I do love these plugs. They are so cool. But what I've done is I've extended the coil wiring harness, put a plug on it because just a bit worried the wiring loom that was here was just a little bit too short to get it out into the engine bay and to the strut tower where it's going. So that's done. Now, injector wiring has also been done to one of these plugs, and I have remade the injector wiring loom, so that's a lot better. TPS has also been wired to a plug. Now out of here, we just have the temp sensor, which will wire into a plug later, well, not that later on, but later on. So I'm happy with this. I have tested it and everything is working. I'm not going to bore you with that again, but we're good to go. So tomorrow, I just need to cut this shape out here. That plate's all good to go, and as I said, we just need to cover all this up with conduit and start feeding it into the car. So all we need to do, wire an earth up, we need to wire main power and accessory wire, and what else was there? Just this wire, hook it into the fan and hook that to the fuel pump, and we're away laughing. All right, it's the next day and we're all loaded up. So we're going to take the ECU down to the car now and pre-wire as much as we can and see if stuff works. I've got a real bad feeling now that I've made the looms way too long. So it is what it is. We might have to just coil it up in behind the dash, but I suppose better to be too long than too short. So we'll see how we get on. Anyway.
And I'm like, nah, I don't think it will. I think I'll be able to take over.
Well, I can't find it. Oh, hang on. In the guard.
Me?
I was trying to see where your wiring's run through. Whoever de-loomed it done a mean job.
It's all down here.
That. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Turned off?
Yeah.
Sweet, so that's working. So I'll plug you. So at this point here, we had actually turned the ignition off after testing for the fuel pump and the fans and everything, and the fuel pump kicked back into life and just sprayed fuel everywhere. So made a few phone calls, got hold of Maddie, and figured out that the relay running the fuel pump was wired to my main power bus bar, which it should have been wired to an accessory wire. So my bad. I did test all that on the bench, but with that power unit, when you turn it off, it shuts everything down. There is no constant 12 volt power, so we never saw it. So it's a weird one, but yeah, it turned back on and just, yeah, sprayed fuel everywhere. So pulled it all back out, rewired the relay, and got this. The key came off. That was the problem. Okay, so Okay, so it's primed.
Yep.
So we're still happy with the fan and everything else. So if I turn it off, man. So that's about as far as we can get with it today. Still waiting on some parts for the injectors, fix the injector seals, stuff like that. So the car will have all that finished. We'll get the coils mounted and the rest of it. I think the fuel pressure rig needs to go in as well. A little bit of work to do with the fuel lines. And then we'll go back, we'll plug it all back in again and start her up. So hopefully in the next couple of days that will happen. So that will be on another video. The car itself is booked in for dyno on the 10th. The 10th of next month. So it's coming up pretty quick. So keep an eye out for that one at Clubfest. It's going to be cool. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I know it's a boring one, but that's all I got on. Anyway, cheers.